This is a 1950 Chevrolet two-door hardtop, the first year of the Bel Air. Some minor body modification has been done to this. A couple of pieces of trim have been eliminated, including the hood split, just to give it a little bit more of a hot rod look. Overall, the car retains a pretty classic original look on the outside. It does have dual exhaust, and the trim that it's present is in great shape. It's got wider wheels in the back, 8s in the back, 7s in the front. Brand new tires. The chrome on the front is in pretty good shape, not perfect. The light bezels are in good shape. All the glass seems to be in good shape. A lot of it still looks to be original. Has the bubbling and fraying around the edges. But still in great shape. I don't see any leaks when we wash it. Of course, we don't drive our cars in the rain, so wouldn't say for sure if it leaks in the rain or not, but we wash them, and this one's not leaking. Looks like somebody did a new interior a few years back. Very simple, classic looking pleat on the door. Panels have been replaced in the front and rear. Seats out of a different vehicle have been put in it. Looks like they were stained and are overall retaining their wear, but on the sides, especially this passenger side one, looks like it's just going to need to be restained. But there's no rips or tears, and in fact, that's something that usually we would do before we put it up for sale, but I honestly didn't catch that earlier when we were going through it. I don't work up in the shop. My guys do that stuff, and I grabbed this car. Been driving it a few times. It's been really fun to drive. It's got all the original gauges and everything. Unmolested dashboard, which is really nice. It does have a newer updated steering column, and that's because it's got a clip on the front. It's got a Nova clip on the front, which gives it power disc brakes and power steering. It's got a Chevy 350 engine. Hood opens easily. Engine runs perfect. We'll take it for a drive here in just a minute. The engine runs super strong. The transmission shifts great. And this is a car that I would hop in and drive to a car show in Florida today. And it's ready to run down the road. Nice thing about the drivetrain upgrades is that, you know, now you can keep up with the traffic. So originally these old cars, 3 on the tree and 55 miles an hour was their max speed. This is a very clean car underneath. It's not rust free. It's got a couple of little pencil holes there, size holes there, but it's actually, for being original, nobody's undercoated it and tried to hide anything. And so for being so original looking, it's actually extremely clean. This is no Flintstones car. There's a minimal rust. You're not sticking your feet through the floor. For original floor pans there, you've got minimal rust. We've had it parked in the same place inside the shop for the past week or so. Been driving it. It always drives reliably. It doesn't seem to have any leaks. This is a cool car. One thing that it doesn't have is the original tank, which I kind of frown upon a little bit. Somebody spent the money, and I see this every once in a while, somebody spent the money on and there's a nice solid trunk pan, by the way. Nice solid rails in the back. There's one little spot of rust right there in the trunk pan. Other than that, nice and solid. This is usually where you see them rusting out. Those are original lines. And I don't understand why people don't do it. They don't order the tank out of a catalog, because it's cheaper to do that. It costs about 125 bucks to get a new tank, maybe 150, than it is to buy the fuel cell that's in the trunk. But that's the way they did it. Somebody put new shocks on this. Like I said, super clean underneath. A couple of weak spots on the floor pan and behind the back seat. And the body on this car is extremely straight. There you'll see some steel's been put in from the inside just to kind of reinforce it. There's a hole there. But this is far from a rust bucket. This is no rust bucket car. The kind of car that this is, to me, kind of a moonshine runner style, you know, old school, kind of a hot rod style car. I personally probably wouldn't even, these are brand new tires. Personally, I probably wouldn't even think about replacing the floor pans. Bottoms of the doors are in great shape. I mean, the rockers are in good shape. The body's super straight. Looks like it was painted maybe 5 or 6 years ago. maybe 10 years at the most. The paint is consistent from bumper to bumper. It's got a couple of little imperfections. Somebody did a, you know, was making kind of a hot rod out of this thing, so they didn't, you know, they didn't go perfect on it. And I don't blame them. Like I said, that's not my style on a car like this personally. What does have one chip right there. Like I said, this is all original glass. That's the one spot where it's broken. A lot of guys with the rat rod craze right now are, you know, leaving stuff like that because it looks cool. The nice thing about this car is it is ready to jump in, drive wherever you want to drive it, and tinker with it. You know, get a new set of bumpers if you want to go back with chrome, or put the trim back on if you want, or I like it the way it is. Swap the wheels out, you know, fix little stuff. I'd take the glove box and put a CD player in it, and put some speakers in it so I'd have some tunes while I'm cruising. But it just needs to be tinkered with. Look at the, I mean, the paint looks awesome. You can see the reflection of the sky in it. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's a nice, you know, it's a decent looking driver paint job. I'm not going to say this is an awesome paint job or anything, but I am saying the body is super straight. I don't see any rust in the body anywhere. Like I said, minimal rust as I showed underneath the car. Real quick, let me stick the camera up under the front so you can see the clip work. Everything's super clean under here. You can see that they cut the ends. And then it looks like a box weld there. It looks like it's done right. Very clean. And that's one of the concerns a lot of people have about these being clipped, is did the guy do it right? I'm always personally looking for a good solid box weld. I've got the key in my pocket because I was in the trunk earlier. Trunk is all clean like I showed you from underneath. It's got a fuel cell in it. You can see from the still photography. So right now the key is to the right, it's off. The key is, you can see, actually you can watch the voltage meter jump. So when the key is up and down, it turns on. I actually think I'm getting a little low on gas, but I think I have enough definitely to get back to the shop. I love having powered steering because you can steer these cars with one finger. Transmission shifts perfect. This car is geared to cruise. It rides super smooth, very comfortable. The seats are adjustable. Whoa, I just popped myself way back. Ah, there we go. Somebody's gonna really enjoy this ride. I mean, beautiful car, power brakes, power steering. The car drives straight down the road, doesn't need an alignment, brand new tires. I mean, this car is ready for a car show, ready to be cruised around and ready for a daily driver.